Alright, here are 11 print-on-demand tips that are going to explode your results. These tips come from years of being in the industry. I've been here since 2014 and I'm going to share them with you now. So let's go. So first up, you want to choose one viral product type. Whether it's shine-on jewelry or hoodies or shirts or whatever it may be, you want to focus on one product and put all your attention into creating designs for that specific piece. So with shine-on jewelry, for instance, on the screen here, you can see 3 viral pieces that have sold millions of units each. So the reason for this is because once the phrase connects, once you've emotionally triggered that response from the audience that you're targeting, they're going to talk themselves into any pieces that are on this screen. And that goes for any product that you're selling as well. Once you've got the confidence in the product, it's all about that design. You can stop asking that question, is it just the product? My designs are good enough to sell. If they were good enough to sell, you'd be selling. So make sure you choose one product and put your attention into creating phrases that get those customers buying from you. Next up, you want to choose 3 to 5 niches. The reason for this, oftentimes when you first come into print on demand, the niches that you think you're going to connect with and sell to aren't the ones that end up buying from you. So what you want to do, when you're selecting your niches, choose a niche group. And in that niche group, say for instance, it's outdoors. In outdoors, you've got tons of different sub-niches within that. So you could have fishing, hunting, camping, cruising, hiking. There's so many that you can go after in there. And what that allows you to do is when you're creating a brand and you're on social media, the voice that you're using to connect with your audience makes better sense. You can get a voice. If you're trying to speak to truckers, to people that are in a relationship, that are mother-daughter, there's so much disconnect in there that you can't really connect with them through engaging posts. And what we want to do is build up these pages so that we can create audiences from them when we're running our products, when we're running our designs, when we're testing our products in Facebook. Because every time someone engages on one of our posts, likes, comments, shares, whatever, Facebook's tracking that and you can put them into a seed audience to use later on when you're scaling your products. Next, you want to make sure that you're keeping your design simple. The reason for this is because you want that phrase to stand out and be easily read as soon as somebody sees it. If they're trying to figure out what the colors are, what the fonts are, if they're trying to read cursive words, you're taking them away from what actually sells these products, and it's that phrase. So on the screen here, you can see that the vast majority of these designs are one color. They're white on black or black on a certain color. But the majority are super simple. And when you look to them, you can read them. There's no amount of time taken up trying to figure out what the image actually looks like. And that goes for the ad creative too. When you're advertising these, how they're displayed right here on the screen within Spy Pro, which is the spy tool that I'm using here, all the attention goes straight to that phrase. And there's a phrase in this industry that you're going to continually hear, and that is, it's the phrase that pays. So if we come over onto this next screen, what you can see here is jewelry pieces, and the same goes for them as well. Making sure that you're designing in a way that when this comes up in their newsfeed, it's easily read. So there's limited colors. There's going to be the outliers here that do have a little bit of design embellishment on it, but the vast majority are super simple. So I encourage you to do just that. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it stupid simple, right? You got it. Next, once you've got a phrase that's connecting, once you're selling and scaling one design, see if you can horizontally scale it. So that's an old school technique I talked about last week, and you'll watch it in this other video, wherever it is, I don't know where to point. But what that is taking that phrase and applying it into another niche. So for instance, last week I showed you with Tom Bell, he had a seller that was selling something to guys that are, I guess, math teachers, but it was this, what part of, and all these equations don't you understand? So that connected with mathematicians. So what you can easily do, this piece had sold over $80,000 worth in 1 week. That piece, that phrase can easily be applied to so many different things. So if someone's into guns, and you got to be careful on Facebook these days with guns, but what part of, and then you could have a gun pulled apart with all the different bits and names given to each part of that gun. It could be a bike, it could be a motorbike, it could be anything that speaks to a specific niche. That is how you horizontally scale. So if you've got a jewelry piece and you're targeting hunters or you're targeting bikers, think about how you could possibly, if you're talking about the open road, what other niches speak about the open road? So obviously truckers, obviously cyclists, there's quite a few in there, even hot rodders. Think about how you can horizontally scale. You can make a lot of money doing that. I have. Next, you want to make sure that you've only got 2 to 3 colors max on these products, and that's including the background color. So again, going back to Spy Pro, we can see the vast majority of these are one color on a contrasting background. So take a look through that. Then over on this next page with jewelry, it's the exact same thing. So you've got one here, there's 3 colors total on that. There's 2 colors there, 2 colors there, 3 colors there. Keep it simple. Next, stick to specific tasks on specific days. Some of these things are quite hard to say, but what I'm trying to get at is we know that people tend to buy a lot more over the weekend. So we want to make sure that we're launching in that Wednesday to Friday window, which means Monday and Tuesday should be dedicated to doing your concept research and getting your designs ready for you to actually run those ads later in the week. With that ad setup, with Wednesday to Friday as your ad launches, that leaves a weekend for you to actually scale through. And you want to be scaling through the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because come Monday, Tuesday, they're typically the quieter days with print on demand. Don't reinvent the wheel. So many times I see people coming into this industry and they're wanting to create their own phrases. They think they can write a love letter better than what's been done without actually putting in the reps to learn how to actually create these things. So the best way to start, and what I'm going to do is get my trusty pen tool over here. So on these phrases, particularly if you're coming in to do jewelry, you'll see that there's certain elements within these phrases. So we've got the intro section, we've got the recipient here, and there's simple ways to actually redirect products as well. So if you're doing To My Smoking Hot Soulmate, you could put To My Smoking Hot Riding Partner for Life and redirect this particular piece to bikers. But down here, whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember whose queen you are and straighten your crown. That is one part of a moneymaker right there. You can use that, go and take it and put it in your spreadsheet, then create a blend. So there's this section here, which is if I could give you one thing in life, I would give you the ability to see yourself through my eyes. Only then would you realize how special you are to me. So there's 2 phrases there that have been blended together and it's doing quite well. That particular piece has over 65,000 reactions on it, which means someone's investing heavily into it. Over here, whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember whose queen you are and straighten your crown. Again, that might be the same piece by the looks of it. So that piece is doing exceptionally well. If I had one wish, it would be to turn back the clock so that I could find you sooner and love you longer. If I had a second wish, it would be to give you the ability to see yourself through my eyes. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. So you could, if I had a second wish, you could easily put something else in there. Now, if I scroll down, so over here you can see sometimes it's hard to find words to tell you how much you mean to me. When you took your first breath, I told you I love you. And I'd use my last breath to tell you the same. I squeezed this necklace really tight and filled it with the love and light. If I'm ever not here and you need a hug, just hold this close to feel my love. So that's been reworked. That's a phrase that I've seen done time and time again over the years, but it's just been reworked, which is another way of creating something unique as well. It bears repeating. It's the phrase that pays. I'm going to say it again. It's the phrase that pays. Once you've emotionally connected, once you've hit those emotional triggers from your audience, they're going to talk themselves into the other products. Remember that. It is the biggest tip I can give you. Stop trying to decide what product is going to sell better to what niche. Once you have your niches, find the product, double down on it, and create those emotionally triggering phrases. Believe it or not, it's not your ad copy that sells. Stop worrying about your product titles, your ad copy, the product description. That is not what sells your print-on-demand pieces. I'm telling you, it is so much more important to create products that have those emotional triggers built into them. It's the phrase that pays. That's why I said it twice. That's why it's 2 tips within this 11 tips that I'm giving you. Focus. Don't worry about the titles. Don't worry about the descriptions. Once you have products that are absolutely crushing, once you're scaling your pieces and you're starting to build a branded Shopify store, that is when you can put a little bit more attention into it. But it's that phrase. It's all about the phrase. It's about the what? you got it. Now, once you've hit those emotional triggers and somebody wants to buy from you, make sure when they get to your Shopify store that you have those trust markers covered. You want to make sure you've got your favicon, you've got decent colors. There's brand kits you can find on Pinterest. Go and have a look. Make sure you've got a logo, get a phone number. These are the trust markers that, whether you like it or not, are the little amber flags that go off when they're not there. If they see that you don't have a favicon, that's enough for someone to go, If they don't see a logo and they're just seeing text, that's another, You want to make sure that you're not giving them 3, because if you do, they will be gone and you'll have lost that sale. You want to make sure once that phrase connects, that the trust markers are in place, that they come to you, someone they've never heard of before, and make that purchase. That's how you make sure that people are going to buy from you once you've connected, looking after your customer. What number are we up to? Now, you've got to commit to those reps. None of this is going to work if you don't put in the time, effort, and consistency that it needs for you to actually build those muscles. You don't get a six-pack by going to the gym and working out once. You need to keep going back there. You need to do the nutrition. You need to do the exercises. You need to understand what exercises you need in order to get there. Over the time, doing the phrase creation, doing the actual designs, running those ads, you'll start to get experience and understand this so much better. Every step you take, you allow yourself to ask new, better questions that lead you closer and closer to what you are chasing. And that is a 6-figure print-on-demand business that allows you to quit that 9 to 5 or whatever it is that's keeping you from doing what you want to do. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you ask any questions below. Make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell, like, do all those things, because that'll show YouTube that you're interested and you want to see this content in the future. I am dropping new videos all the time. Now, if you're interested in working with me personally, make sure you check out podhacks.co. See you in the next one.